time.
Oh,
I missed something, and I'm sorry about that. But
okay. So you should have calendar invitations for all that you don't have them. Okay.
no, and I mentioned to Mac, and he said he resent it. I still don't have it. I don't know what's going on. We can deal with this offline.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
wondering if we have the wrong, do we have the wrong email for you?
well,
Which will you email and let me know?
yeah, I can send you like two or three different ones to use. It doesn't matter to me which one I use. I just need to get it. I'll email you
Do
afterwards.
you have a
Okay.
Gmail, Daniel? Do you have a Gmail that we can
That's
use?
what I was gonna send you. Was my Gmail.
Thank
My
you.
Daniel
That
like Garcia Dev is a Google hosted mail, but
that's the one
um,
we've been sending to. But
yeah, and then normally it works great. But
Hmm.
here, I'll put it in the chat.
thank you.
Hey, Mecca.
Okay. So we will get you
It's my
sorted.
it's my fallback Gmail for whatever.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, I'm on it, Ariel.
Okay, great. We'll get that fixed. I'm just looking at office hours. You are added, Dan.
Yeah, I never got an email.
Daniel
So
at
if you want to,
garciadev.com.
yeah, that's what I signed up with. We've emailed each other there. I got the book from that.
Yeah, weird. Would you mind checking your spam or your promotions folders? I'm wondering if like maybe they're hanging out in there.
I thought I did, but let me. We don't. Again, we don't need to take up everyone's time for this. We
Okay.
can
Um,
get to the good stuff.
let's get to the good stuff. I need the YouTube link, Mecca, and I'm not seeing
Could
it.
could you drop it in here for the chat, in the chat for
Yes.
us as well?
As
Thanks.
soon as I can find it, I don't know where it is. It is not here. Let me go over to my YouTube and grab it. Mecca, do you have the YouTube live link par chance?
I'm checking right now. No. Hmm.
Okay.
What I will do, I'm just gonna put this link here. Family, this is for the future lives that you'll see. Um, and for today's live, we'll get back to you.
Here is the YouTube live. I just put it in the chat. So
Awesome.
without further anything, let's head on over to YouTube and I'm going to plug in my headset and fire up my deck. I'll see you over there in a moment.
All
Thanks,
right, see you all.
everybody.
Take care.
Okay, everyone. Let me know if everyone can hear me. Just doing a little mic check. I've got my headset in. Great, I see everybody's chat. You are all here. This is fantastic. And I am going to, okay, I'm going to shut off the beeping on my phone, but keep it here in case there's an emergency. Great. Okay. And let me share screen so we can get right into our presentation. Okay. Tell me if you all can give me a bit of a thumbs up when you see the presentation. Great. Okay, so welcome, welcome. Here we are, week 3. It's all about capture buckets. This is a turning point in the 7 weeks because in this part of the journey, we go from building the foundation, which is obviously what does the brand look like? How do we want to look? And we move into the actual elements that are going to set us up for success. So I call these elements capture buckets. Here we are in week 3. There is no reason to build capture buckets unless you have completed the first 2 parts of the course. So brand pillars are first, fan personas and voice. Personal social media needs all to be tuned up as well as your website. And here we come with building capture buckets. Of course, the point of all of this is we are leaning towards our bond, which is the strategies that build direct connections, fandom, and authentic community. And I know I repeat this in every class. And the reason why I do it is to keep us grounded and sort of with our eyes on the prize so that we know that's what we're doing. And this week is a bit technical because we are going to begin to put the biggest connection to the direct communities into play. The 3 core principles and the reasoning is we want to build our own ownership, not have Daniel Ek, not have Mark Zuckerberg, not have, God forbid, Elon Musk owning our communities, but us. We want to foster communities, and of course, we want to provide value. We've already had a recap. I will not belabor, but for those of you that are still in process, definitely you want to catch up. So this week we are focusing on capture buckets. Capture buckets are all about turning visibility into ownership by setting out and utilizing many buckets. The more buckets that we put out, the more fans that we can begin to collect and convert into our community. Okay, I hear that my volume is low. I'm turning up my volume. Let's see, is that a little bit better? Let me know. Volume is now, I think, as high as I can get it. Okay. So the more buckets, the more fans converted to our direct community. So if it were pouring rain and you desperately needed water, would you put out just one bucket? No, you'd put out as many receptacles as you have available. That would be how you would capture the rain. Interest actually shows up everywhere, and capture has to as well. So we don't want to admire the attention, which is sort of what social media brainwashes us to do, like get really dopamined up when we see a hit and like send a fire emoji. The more effective path here is collection. So stop thinking about reaction and start thinking about collection. When I think about how some of the most successful artists throughout history in the independent world have created that success, it always starts with them collecting their own attention. So, what exactly is a capture bucket? To give you some clarity, a capture bucket is any system that collects fans' contact information in exchange, usually for value. Value may be exclusive content or simply your art and your access. So they could be just completely attracted to you by what they see, by an aesthetic, by a brand, by a choice you've made, and join. But a lot of the times we do have to offer a little bit of some value in order to bring people in. I hear a lot of pushback because we work with a lot of artists where we set up capture buckets for them. And very often they get a bit confronted and say, well, I feel like it's being pushy or it seems desperate. When it is in complete alignment with your brand and for the fans, this is why we start by thinking through brand and fans, it will feel like an invitation. These are value exchanges and relationship builders. And they do obviously two jobs. They collect owned contacts for you to own forever, and they provide community and value. Here is what we are building in week 3. Systems that capture attention. A simple funnel, which is going to take you from social to ownership. One primary email foundation with your first irresistible exclusive offer, which we call your big, fat, juicy bribe. And then we're going to, for those of you that already have that bribe in place, we're going to look at some optional bonus buckets. So I'm here to meet you at wherever you feel like you're at. Of course, this whole structure reduces our algorithm dependency. There are some very well promoted and spoken about statistics about how much of a percentage of your audience you're actually reaching with an Instagram and or any social account. And we're somewhere between 2 and 4%, which is dismal. We know with email, that jumps up in the entertainment industry, especially. Email open rates for the entertainment industry tend to hover somewhere between 20 and 40%. So extremely high for the music industry and for entertainment in general when done right, which I think is extremely happy news. And of course, when we're thinking about capture buckets, we want to think about clear pathways from social platforms and encounters to what is going to constitute direct connection. There are 7 types of capture buckets, and I'm going to run through them along with some nuances. So we're going to do the high level of the 7, and then we're going to deep dive into a few of them that we're going to be focusing on in this week. So here they are. Website email capture, exclusive offer, meaning a lead magnet, meaning a lead magnet or a big fat juicy bribe, social media capture, pre-save, real world or in real life capture, text or SMS marketing, and lastly, one that's a bit old school but can still be extremely effective, and I'll get into why, physical address capture. So, number one, the big one that we're going to be looking at this week is website email capture. We don't want them to slip away. If they've come to your site and landed there, momentum is already on your side. You've already tuned up your website. Most of you have. There will be, by the end of this week, a main email capture right on your homepage. But just to keep in mind, there are some additional ways that you can put out your buckets on your website, and that is with sign-up forms, landing pages, pop-ups, and footer forms. Believe it or not, footer forms on the bottom of every page of your website that says, want more? Come join my community. Want more? Get something for free. Hello, we love you. Join us. On every footer can absolutely begin to attract people as they're clicking around your website. So that's a valuable one to keep in mind. Your main homepage offer is your big, fat, juicy bribe. It has to be enticing, of course. It has to be on brand for you and for your fan personas. So that's why we spent so much time articulating who is coming, what do they like, what do they read, what color are they interested in, how old are they, where do they live, what's their name. You want to build your big, fat, juicy bribe for that specific fan. It wants to answer the with them, the what's in it for me. So when you write the text for the bribe, for the offer, you want to keep that in mind. It gets delivered with a promise. What are they going to get? How often are you going to email them? Are you going to keep their email safe? It tells your fan what to expect, and it has a follow-up attached to it. And next week in the email module, we're going to get deeply into the follow-up. But for now, we're going to go high level with autoresponders. And your main homepage offer gets tweaked and tested over time. And the one that you do right now might be one that it might shift in a couple months. So we are also keenly aware that we're in this waterfall releasing cycles. Something that matches your big, fat, juicy bribe for one specific video or track that you're putting out, or for a show that you're doing or an event. That's this month or this quarter's big, fat, juicy bribe. And that can absolutely change. So I know a lot of people listening to this tend to lean towards the perfectionist category. That's what so many artists are. And obviously you don't put music out until it's perfect. Don't think that way about your big, fat, juicy bribe. At this point, and in the interest of moving through this course and getting all of the high level moments, good is good enough. And we'll get into some quick down and dirty big, fat, juicy bribes that can happen without you having to worry about high production or creating something that's perfect. Let's go for good is good enough. I'm going to shut the window because there is a lot of noise coming. I don't know if you can hear it, but give me 1 moment. I'm going to just close the window. New York City is not a quiet place. And we're back. Sorry about that. There was dogs barking and tractor trailers. It's crazy. So I want to show you a few examples of some amazing homepage offers that we've built for our clients, and also that I have discovered and found just through research and looking at people that I admire on the internet. We saw this one a little earlier in the course. This is our client, Ray Levier. Ray is an internationally known drummer. He is the author of Drumming in Flow, which is a book that talks about how to use your breath to ground you and the positive effects that breathing has upon all artistry, and of course, in his case, drumming. And we had two different offers. We A B tested. We were giving away a video where Ray took us through how to ground himself, how you can ground yourself using breath. And then when the book came out, we did a chapter of the book, which was you just enter your email and it delivered a PDF of a chapter of the book. This is one that I'm really proud of. This is an artist that we work with named George Collins. George is an Americana rock artist who happens to live in Prague. He is an American living in Prague. And a lot of tourists come to Prague to discover its rich musical history. And many of the people that do that come there specifically because it's got a classical and opera legacy. We built a book for people that like jazz, blues, and rock, the history of Prague through the eyes of a different lens. This is our lovely client, Regina. Regina uses Squarespace, which you can, Squarespace, and you can see here MailChimp, it says right there on the integrated app. And her homepage has just one clear call to action. Do you want some fun goodies? Sign up for Regina's mailing list and be the first to hear important announcements and be eligible for mailing list exclusive deals. So very clear what you're going to get. The with him is answered. I think we could add a little bit more character into this, but this was her choice, and it's been effective as a way that she's been getting new signups. This is one I absolutely love. This is Heather May. Heather May has this gorgeous pop-up that happens when you come to her website. Her photography is just so stunning. It's giving gay agenda. Sign up for my newsletter to get the goods before anyone else. Songs, shows, secrets, and serotonin. And you can see the promise here. We respect your privacy. So I went and signed up, and immediately the pop-up changed to, thank you so much, amazing human. Check your email for a special something. And I love this because immediately it answers the with him. What am I going to get? It invites me. It calls me amazing. This is really thinking about the audience. And it's very clear what Heather is offering. And I just love the aesthetic and the artwork around this. And lastly, this is Nikki Richards. She has a offer to get the unreleased Mark Kibble vocals only version of her song Tether Me, available only for new subscribers. So she had something that she was offering that was a version of one of the fully produced songs from her album that came out. And there's a lot of Mark Kibble fans out in the world. He's in a very famous band, so her collaboration was something that she thought through to use here. So this week, we're not optimizing email quite yet. We're installing your system. Next week, we're going to focus really deeply on emails. So please don't get too far into the weeds with email. Let's try to stay on capture buckets and setting them out. In order to do this, you are going to need a real email service provider. That is also known as an ESP, email service provider. That's like Constant Contact, MailChimp, ConvertKit. You can use the Squarespace email. We'll get into some of the ones we love the most. I just mentioned them. You want to have the ability to build landing pages. So that's got to be part of what your ESP provides. You also want to have the ability to deliver exclusive offers so that once the person signs up for something, they immediately get something in their inbox. You do not want to have any kind of crazy system where they sign up and then you are having to like hand trigger something and send something. No, it has to all be automatic. You also want to have basic autoresponder and AR journey capability, meaning when someone signs up to your email, they get staggered autoresponders that come maybe one every 24 hours for 3 days, or one every, we can figure out what the cadence is for you. That's what we're going to be working on next week. And one connected primary sign up point. So that is really what we're going to get through this week. Your homepage is going to have that big, fat, juicy bribe ready to go with a delivery system that works, so that that one connected primary sign up point, the homepage or a landing page, depending on what direction you're going to go in, this is the job. We will set it up properly and we'll optimize the journey next week. Capture bucket number 2. This is the juicy offer that we are talking about. Nobody joins a list. Nobody says in their mind, ooh, you know what I'd really love? I'd really love to sign up to this list so I could get more email cluttering my inbox. That's not how people think. They want to accept an invitation. They want to be part of a club. So the conversion requires value. And here is a list of things that you could give. You could give a bundle of music, an unreleased track. So that's what Nikki Richards did. She took a track. It wasn't exactly unreleased, but it was like a special version from the studio. You could do remixes, something exclusive, like a whole EP that for some reason you didn't release, or package up an EP and make it exclusive, maybe by adding notes or something special. Could be a video, could be a theme or location book like we built for George. Could be a mini documentary. Here's a day in the life behind the scenes with me. Maybe it's a lyric book. I think about that for someone in our class right now has like very beautiful social justice lyrics that really resonate with the times we're in right now. Maybe giving away some lyrics is the way to deliver that. And of course, behind the scenes is always fun. Let's talk a little bit about your ESP. I already said you're going to have to use one in order to deliver the bribe. Here are the ones we like: MailChimp, Kit, which used to be called ConvertKit, Constant Contact, MailerLite, and Squarespace. For those of you that are on Bandzoogle, we don't love Bandzoogle's email. The problem is you cannot set up autoresponders with Bandzoogle, unfortunately. If you don't have one, it is time. You want to be sure that your email service provider can do all of the things that we've already chatted about, but a couple more to point out. You want to check your analytics. How many people are clicking on links or opening or unsubscribing or taking any kind of action, because what you focus on expands. So as you move through getting really strong with your email communication, checking how you're performing is key. You also want to be able to resend your emails to the unopened. So if, say, you send your email out on a Tuesday at 6 a.m., it's great maybe the following Saturday to resend to the people that didn't open. If you've got a 20, 30, 40% open rate, it gives you another chance. You also want to dive into A/B testing. Email subject line testing especially is key, and that is something that a good ESP will give you. Of course, we have an action sheet for this. It's designing your big, fat, juicy offer. And I've got some ideas that we are diving into. You can read through those and see if one of those ideas resonates with you. And then there's a little written exercise about thinking through the bribe that you're going to have now to get us through this week. And then maybe a future one if you've got like a vision in your head for wanting to create, say, that mini documentary or a video or something that makes sense. Capture bucket number 3, social media. Zuck and Eck can't own your fans' please don't let the scroll be the end of your story. So once your juicy offer is in place, you can begin to work on a social posting and advertising campaign with calls to action that call attention to the fact that this big juicy bribe exists. And here are some places you can add it. Link in bio, like any kind of short link that you use. Linktree is our favorite at CyberPR, but there are many. A landing page, lead forms, comment triggers, and DM connections and automations. How you're going to start converting the scroll to the owned audience is actually in DMs. And we're going to get into that when we begin talking about repeatable strategies. But I want to have you begin to think, how are you going to get that 3 or 4% converted? Well, you're going to ask them. If you think about, like, how do you make a friend? You don't make a friend by just like meeting them one time and having an extremely brief exchange. You make a friend by nurturing that relationship. Capture bucket number 4 is pre-save capturing. A lot of articles and mentions, and even the philosophy at CyberPR, is we've taken our foot off the gas when it comes to putting a ton of attention into pre-saving. And the reason why is we find that spending a lot of time and energy and effort on getting people to pre-save means you're basically spending very precious ask time to send people to Spotify away from where you have control. However, there are a couple of really effective email collection strategies that you can use if you're going to be doing a pre-save. We recommend a lifetime pre-save, meaning a forever pre-save. And what that means is when you ask for a pre-save of, say, a track that's coming out next month, and someone pre-saves it, when you put out a track in 2 months or 3 months, they will still be on your pre-save link. So that the pre-savers build. That is an amazing, sort of new. It's been around about over a year now, but a lot of artists still don't know about lifetime pre-saves. Hyped It has them. Smart Noise has them. I think Feature FN and Tone Den do as well. I will research that and get back to us in the chats and in our follow-ups. But at CyberPR, we absolutely love Hyped It. It is a wonderful tool. It's much easier to use than a lot of the advertising platforms like Meta, for example, and they've got great customer service, plus lifetime pre-saves. So the idea here is when you're doing a pre-save, you're not only asking to pre-save, you're asking for an email. In real life is a huge capture bucket. For those of you that don't play out live, that doesn't have to happen at a show, but do understand that real life energy is your highest converting moment. It's peak emotional. You don't have to play out again. You can create a special event where everyone comes and get them signed up. And we're going to talk about that in the fan sanctuary part of this journey. Here are some places where peak emotional moment capture can be utilized in online or offline conversations through using QR codes at your merch table, printed short links, and of course, on-stage shout-outs. I want to get into QR codes for a minute. This is another thing that I want to make sure you walk away from this course with your very own QR code and at least have one that you're putting into play in your toolbox. So you want to leverage a QR code to seamlessly connect with fans at shows in real life. Again, fans are most engaged in those scenarios. And your QR code should, of course, lead back to that big, fat, juicy bribe to an email capture, or it could give another level. So if you are the kind of artist that tends to play out, and this is totally something that a lot of our clients experience. They play out to the same 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people every time. This is an opportunity to go a little bit deeper. So if you already know that people that are at your show are already on your email list, they've already gotten the free bribe, maybe you switch your QR code to do a sticker giveaway or a raffle. So you can continue making QR codes to bring people deeper and deeper. Where should you use them? Merch table, posters, flyers, table tents at the venue. If you have like a seated venue and you know people aren't going to come swarming your merch table, you can make little pop-up tents on the stage, on a poster behind you, on your mic stand as a small placard, maybe on stickers that get spread around the venue on the bar. Maybe you create fun merchandise. We had a client that was like super into craft beer and he only played at like craft beer pubs and craft breweries. He made beer koozies with his QR code right there on it. So that might be an idea. Business cards, or of course, putting it on liner notes. I know a lot of you get CDs made, have the QR code printed big on the back of the CD. Two tools we love to use, very easy to create QR codes. It is very easy to create QR codes with both Chrome, which instantly can generate a free static QR code from any web page, and Canva, which lets you create a more creative and pretty one. Here are some Canva ones. I whipped these up really quickly. Think about your fans, think about what might appeal to them, and then you want to think about, what would the call to action be around that? And imagine you could even print up little table tents and put them around at the venues, and people are just sitting there enjoying their cocktail or beverage, and boom, they're going to scan and get right on your email list like sitting ducks in the lake. So there's an action sheet for QR codes, which will take you through the best creation methods and best practices. I would like to challenge everyone to please create a QR code this week as well as your landing page. So that's your secondary request from me this week. Number 6, text SMS capture. This is not for everyone, but it's definitely high trust, high responsibility communication. Text shifts the relationship from broadcast to connection. There are many options for text messaging building depending on your goals and your list size. And of course, how you can utilize these tools are with short code opt-ins. So like you're on stage and you say, hey, text the word song to 5555. Keyword signups it shows, SMS landing forms. So when they go on their phone and they sign up, there's a landing page. And of course, once you have that community, when you do VIP drops, like if you're releasing anything special, you allow your SMS text messaging list to know about this first. Algorithms filter, text deliver. I had nothing to say in this category other than that. There are some tools that you can begin to experiment with: Laylo, Community, Bands in Town, and Rivet. And I actually have a live demo with Rivet coming up this week. I will record it and report back to all of us. Number 7, physical address capture. Physical mail does not get lost in a feed, and if you know where they live, you know where to tour. So sticker mailaways, free plus shipping, small merch items that you could send, mail-in only exclusives. You could do a postcard club. We actually have a client who performs on cruises. She is huge in the cruise scene, and she's always on a different cruise, and she's always meeting super fans. And she had, I had a great idea, which was when she gets to a special port, she buys a bunch of postcards and she can send her super fans a postcard from a special place to remind them that she's still out on the seas and remind them of why they love her and connected with her in the first place. What are we going to do now to get that big, juicy bribe ready and firing? I want you to think through and make sure you have an ESP. I want to make sure that you have a bribe, any kind of bribe, even if it's a temporary one that you're going to put up. So you've got something on your homepage and you've set up the email capture and the delivery. That is the number one priority of this week. There's going to be one additional action sheet that we're going to put together, which is like a check sheet that will walk you through all the things you might need, especially for those of us who are new at setting up this kind of offer. It can feel a little bit daunting. Please get in one of the coaching sessions with one of us. You know, there's a bunch of them, so get with us and we can help you put the pedal to the metal there. Okay, in summary, this week is about turning attention into ownership. Instead of admiring engagement, we're going to focus on collecting it. Interest shows up everywhere. Your capture system should too. If it's pouring rain, you don't put out one bucket, you put out as many as possible. That is the same with fan growth. You are going to build a clear pathway from social and real world moments into your own ecosystem. You're going to create that big, fat, juicy bribe. And if you already have that, you're going to do a stretch goal of creating a QR code and thinking through how you're going to do some social media posting to bring people in to check out the big, fat, juicy bribe. So this week is not about massive optimization yet. It's about installation, setting up a real email service provider if you don't have one, creating that landing page and or the home page with the juicy bribe, connecting one primary sign-up point is the goal. Also, designing an irresistible offer that aligns with your brand pillars and your fan personas. The biggest takeaway this week is don't let the scroll be the end of the story. Don't send people to a home page. Send them to an invitation. Give them a reason to come closer to you. So, bond marketing again, it's not built on hype, it's built on ownership and value. When you install multiple capture buckets, you stop renting attention and you start building a fan base that you own. So this one was very high level this week with these very specific calls to action. I would absolutely love to know if you have any questions or feedback. Mecca can join me and read any of the comments or questions that are in the YouTube chat. I'd love to hear if you have anything specific. And if not, go forth and create those capture buckets. That's what you are going to do. If there is any more, I do see a couple of comments here. Is it possible to collect emails without DMing on social? Yes, it is possible, but I'm going to give you some scenarios where some of my clients took their email lists from 100 to 200, 300, 400, 500. Tim is saying, when you talk about a landing page, what is the nature of it? We're going to get super deep into that next week, Tim, but a landing page is ostensibly a page that is not the home page of your website with like the one big fat juicy bribe. A landing page can be hidden. It doesn't even have to be on your website. It can be just a place where you're sending your fans. If you go to cyberprmusic.com, that's my website, and you click on the freebies at the very top, and this might be how some of you actually met me, you will see I have 8 different free offers that there's different downloads that you can get from me. Those are connected to 8 landing pages. Each one has a different thing. So there's a marketing plan check sheet, there's a music publicity check sheet, there's a free chapter to my book, etc. So as you can go through those, you'll see 8 different landing pages. And then what I did is, and what I do is on my blog, I'll write an article and I'll say, hey, if you liked this, come check out this check sheet that goes along with this content. And then people put in their email address, and I get a lot of emails of people just coming to download those offers. So that is how you think about this. Question, I'm using MailChimp for my literary invitations. Do you recommend a separate one for my music? I think you should definitely test one for your music. Or if your brand pillars intersect with your literary, you could do something cool. Like, how would you tie those together? Like, get a piece of my writing that goes with a specific song and bundle your brands together. Question, is it best to ask for email and name on first capture, later to ask for other info? Yes, I think it is, it's very smart to ask for the least amount, because it's hard enough to get an email address out of people. So just ask for the email address at first, maybe first name, email address, and that's it. We did a live demo last week where there was a form that we filled out that said first name, last name, email address, city you live in, subject line, and email. Like, the little form was actually requiring that you send a full email, and we talked that through, and I thought, maybe make that optional. You don't want to force people to do too much work. And yes, I have 8 offers on my website, and the offer that bundles all of them together is currently broken. So that is a reminder to me that even those of us that teach can't sometimes do. So yes, I need to fix that so that everything is bundled together and it gets delivered all at once. Mecca and I will get on that. Anything else? Any other questions that are coming through? I know there's a little bit of a delay on our. Okay. Question, why is Linktree any better than just a web page on a site with all the links, assuming that the page is simple? I like Linktree because well, I don't know, you're a web designer, Dan, so you can probably track this better than most. We like Linktree because you can see who's actually clicking on what things are performing well, and you can adjust them, you can adjust the color, you can adjust the design, you can adjust what links go on top. And for those of us that don't have access to actually designing web pages with ease, Linktree is very easy to use. It's a tool that is just so simple that's why we recommend it. Let's see. Any other questions that are kicking around? I don't think so. I think we are good. All right, if there's anything else, I'm here for the last burning question, but otherwise we can wrap up. It's been amazing to see you all today. Yeah, so the link tracking on a Linktree, yeah, it does make sense. And to do something similar on a web page would require some setup. That's why, I mean, we work with clients that really struggle with just simple setups, and we like to make it as frictionless as possible when it comes to setting up tools for artists. Okay, can't wait to see everybody's big fat juicy bribes. Hopefully we'll get those going in the forums at the TunePipe site. Please go and comment there. And it looks like Ignatius, I just tried to look at your Linktree, and it says I cannot Oh, I see. Hold on. I think the URL that you sent me might be slightly off. Happy to look at it. Linktree. It's link dot. Yeah, there, you got to send me a link that actually functions, my friend. This one is like jacked and totally out of order. It's link dot. It's linked dot ee, and then there should be some slashes and things. And yeah, it's not in the right place, and I'm struggling right now to get to that. Struggling to get to that link tree, but if you can get me the actual link, I can definitely take a look at it. Let's see if I can make it work. Ah, nope, I can't find it. But I will definitely take a look if you can get me your link tree. That's where I thought it might be, but it's not there. Anyway, all have a great rest of your week. I will see you at one of the office hours, and otherwise, we'll see you next week for lesson 4. Bye, everyone.